Thank you for attending this virtual book launch of the Capital Market Guidebook titled Financial Intermediation, Operations and Practice, authored by Mr. Seye Adetunmbi, the CRO of Value Investing Limited and the Convener of the Capital Market Roundtable in Nigeria. It is of a particular pleasure for me to be the moderator for this half of the session. We will quickly move on to that of the book review by Mr. Bola Ajomale, and then we'll take a brief remark at 2:57 p.m. precisely, the brief remarks by the CEO of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, our esteemed Oscar Oyema, and then we'll move on to remarks by the author and the publisher, and we'll lead on to the unveiling of the book.
Seye has written a fantastic book on the Operations and Practice, Financial Intermediation. It's excellently produced, and it succeeds as a chronicle of the pivots and the tools of the Nigerian capital market. Every single one of the 319 pages touches on one of three things: either a thoughtful gem of wisdom on the capital market, or it's a revelation of why, who, or how, or it's just a recollection, a wistful recollection of an era that has passed. It will satisfy any of a group of people: analog stockbrokers such as myself, new entrants to the market, students of business disciplines, market analysts and reporters, a whole range of everyone, of people who are involved in the market, and even those who are not in the market, who are further away from the market. They'll be slightly beguiled with the center spread of pictures in the middle, and also the 17 quotes from Warren Buffett. I found those quotes slightly distracting once in a while, partly because of how poignant each quote was, and also because sometimes your mind is still set on the quotes while you're reading the chapter. But excellent coordination in those. But that's where the fun and game ends. It's no doubt a very serious book and a deep dive into the development of the Nigerian capital market. The first two sections read a bit like a textbook, and they go through the evolution and structure of the market. But by the time you start thinking you're just studying a textbook, you hit the third segment, which then touches on strategies and best practice recommendations. So there was a very smooth transition from textbook to recommendations. And then the fourth segment now provides a certain kind of relief, because he now leads us through a simple structure of some existing derivatives and funding options in the market. Not going too deep into the subject matter to make it difficult to read, but touching on the possibilities that may happen in our market.
When I joined the capital market in 1990, I saw the need for a guidebook for operators and practitioners, and I started taking notes. I didn't mean that the book was published when it was ready in 1994. A section of it, as of today, will have been analog based and will have had to be built now. The debut of this book now has made the book to be digital era compliant. All that I have to say about the financial market are in the book, including my talk of the sector on a professional note. But at this point, let me say, information is key for the growth of the market and to also enhance professionalism. That's why books like this is good and strategic for the market, because if the client is adequately informed, if an issuer, for instance, is knowledgeable about how the market works and operates, it makes it easier for the investment banker in-house to do the job adequately. So in essence, knowledge brews professionalism and enhances competitiveness. I must acknowledge members of the Capital Market Roundtable in Nigeria. I developed myself by associating with people who are better than me so that I can learn from them. Thanks for believing when I approached you, distinguished and senior colleagues, to join the forum.
I must start by congratulating the author, for writing such a wonderful book, Mr. Seye Adetunmbi. This book feels a lot of vacuum that has existed with regards to seminal books that talk about the market, the Nigerian market, just the same way we read about other markets around the world. Most of you here are my doyens, and you've lived through a number of the issues that have been addressed in this book. I think it is very apt that such experience is documented in a book that generations yet unborn can have access to. As we continue to make history, it's important that other people learn from that and build on the foundations that we've done here.
This book displays an array of sumptuous menu of historical and empirical knowledge about the Nigerian financial market and its development over time. For me, it indeed brings out a number of interesting opportunities in which I participated and still participate. There are, of course, challenges as the market continues to grow, but these are not insurmountable as the experiences of the past captured in this book has demonstrated. I must congratulate Seye again. I've been congratulating him right on the social media for his efforts, and encourage him to set out in earnest to begin immediately to start on a new edition, which captures the impact of technology on the markets in a way that makes the launching of the book possible today without physical limiting. I'm delighted to present this book and strongly recommend it to practitioners, students, and investors.
I've always argued that if you are going to get it right as a nation, our capital markets must be very robust, and without it, we'll just be shedding shadows. And again, a nation that you see politicians being wealthier than entrepreneurs, then there's a problem. And the best way to go about it is through initiatives like this. It's like you have chronicled capital markets from its existence in Nigeria to date. I've not had the opportunity of reading the book, though. You sent it to me, but I will sure do. And I'm happy that all the professionals are here. It's like a roadmap, truly it is, and a guideline for everybody: stockbrokers, regulators, practitioners, students, researchers, market analysts, name it, investment bankers. Everybody will benefit from this book. And this is the way to go, because once we deepen our knowledge and professionalism in capital markets, yes, we are getting there. All these small scale enterprises will be encouraged to be listed, and this is the way to go. So congratulations once again. For us in the National Assembly, and let me speak for the Senate now, I think we will encourage initiatives like this, and that is why I'm here doing this. So Seye, once again, congratulations. And somehow, I think it's the Adetunmbi family. I think I just must say this. If you see Senator Olufemi Adetunmbi in the Senate, and you now listen to Seye now, I begin to wonder, it must be the DNA of the Adetunmbi to be very good, very, very, very erudite scholars, publisher, and what have you. So congratulations, well done. On behalf of all of us in the Senate, we say well done, and we'll continue. We'll support you all the way. Thank you.
I especially like the section on securitization, asset securitization, because if you go around this country, we have really lots of assets, housing, commercial properties, we have airports, we have so many things that could really be packaged into securities. Yet, when you talk to institutional investors in the Nigerian capital market, especially our pension funds, the cry is that there is a dearth of investment opportunities. So today, many pension funds are keeping so much money in bank deposits and earning really next to nothing, when there are lots of securities that really constitute the backbone of our economy that could be packaged and sold on the capital market. So I really appreciate this work by Seye, And I would like to add my voice to the appeal that he made in the book, that other professionals in the capital market should really take this as an opportunity to also, write. I think this is really something that all of us should do. Many of us come into the capital market, we work in the capital market, we live with so many ideas that new players in the market, both capital market operators and investors, would love to know before they actually plunge into the capital market. But if we do not write, then those ideas will be lost to this generation, for good. So I will add my voice to that appeal that professionals, even retired professionals, should actually write about their experiences, should write about the theories, should write about the new assets, that are, actually being traded, in many other markets, around the world. At the SEC here, we've been working hard to see how we can deepen this market, how we can promote the development of other markets, and how we can educate the investment public as to what market really presents to them as an opportunity. I think I'm speaking for most of us when I say that a lot of good investors have gone out of this market, not because of lack of investment opportunities, but because they have lost faith with some of the things that happen in the market, especially since the last 10 years or so when we had the financial crisis. I think we need to do a lot more in terms of bringing investors back to the market. And this book is really a big contribution in that area, because people who are not even professionals in the market reading this book will know the way the market works, will know the processes of the market, and I think we'll feel a lot more confident, investing in the market, because now that they know that their money is not really, at risk.
I am delighted to join you from Oxford today, thanks to technology, for this launching ceremony for Chief Seye Adetunmbi's book. And I like to call you Chief Seye because you have two chieftaincy titles: Financial Intermediation Operations and Practice, a guidebook for operations and practitioners. It is a timely book. I adopt everything that has been said, but I also just want to say that this book is timely. Post this unprecedented crisis that we've had, the crisis has turned back the hands of the clock on the global economy, on the African economy, and on the Nigerian economy. Indeed, as many of you know, people suggest that we will have the first recession for Africa as a whole in more than 25 years. And of course, people estimate that our own economy will contract from between 3.4% to 8.9%. With the level of extreme poverty in our country, with the steep decline this year of oil prices from $70 to less than $20, it's no longer tenable for Nigeria to continue to depend on fossil fuels for export revenues and its well-being, especially because our greatest resource is our people and the unique enterprising spirit. And of course, it's the capital markets that unleashes that. So efforts to diversify the economy has to be accelerated with a sense of urgency. And this book enables regulators, market participants, issuers, investors, retail, institutional, to really understand the jewels and the germs of our market, as Mr. Bola Ajomale highlighted for us. I believe that a vibrant domestic capital market will be at the epicenter for any nation that wants to build forward together. And we've changed the terminology to building back to building forward. This is more so for a country like ours, where we must look for innovative ways to generate resources for building forward together. And my brother Lamido Yuguda talked about some of the ways we can start to think about. Domestic capital markets provide patient capital, so you can expand businesses, so that you can create new businesses, so that you can create jobs. They're also good for good governance, for meritocracy, and appropriate capital allocation. And I know I'm speaking to the converted, but I'm absolutely excited about what this book will do for our nation and for financial intermediation, because I think it can help us truly unleash the potential of our markets. It is a book written by someone who's a veteran investment banker and stockbroker. So he understands the Nigerian economy from 30 years of holding several roles. But what I like about him is that he's also a candid commentator on the Nigerian economy. And my brother, Femi Awoyemi, has also already mentioned the Capital Markets Roundtable a few times. He is the convener. And in his humble way, he talks about learning from others, but he's taught a lot of people over the years. So I appreciate very much when he often speaks about the democratization of the Nigerian economy and the participation of the average Nigerian. I believe this book will help retail investors to better understand how to invest, to know what to look for in financial intermediaries, to know also what their rights are as retail investors. As I've always said, the first line of defense for any investor is that investor's knowledge. And for me, it's the most important risk management tool that you have. And so this book helps you to make sure that you understand our market and you understand your rights.